Don't be shy, 'cause life won't bring you down too far.
This is KUGAN, CASSIUS, IFL TV, MTK Global, Fight Camp, Week 1, done. Eddie, how'd you feel?
What a fucking banger. Unbelievable. So proud of the fighters, of our team, for just putting together just an unbelievable spectacle, event, production. Oh man, fights. Just witnessed probably one of the best fights I've ever seen live. I mean, you imagine if that fight had a crowd as well. I mean, for me, it's one of the best fights I've seen live, and those boys deserve so much credit. You know, I know Ted will be looking to move on, and I'd love to see it again. I mean, you've got Fowler next week, Fowler Eggington, Fowler Cheeseman. I mean, you know, James Tennyson, absolute beast. Gavin Gwynn, so tough. Dalton Smith looks like one of the best prospects in the world. What a stunning knockout. Fabio Wardley answered the questions. Jordan Gill moves on. Mate, week 1 done. Let's be having your fight camp week 2.
Right, let's start with Bellotti and Gill, win for Jordan Gill. Who's had a little bit of a tough time over the last year or so, but he got a good, credible name in Reece Bellotti under his resume tonight.
Yeah, it was a good performance. I mean, he looked a bit tentative at times because, quite frankly, I think a lot was on the line. But I felt that he boxed really well. He had control of the fight, had him winning the fight by probably 3 rounds or so. Reece Bellotti tried his best, tried to get into it. There were a few times where I thought he might be starting to find a way in, but Jordan composed himself well, boxed well, and it was a big win for his career.
Exceptional knockout from Dalton Smith, who had a step up in Nathan Bennett tonight, and he answered questions again tonight.
Again, huge credit to Nathan Bennett. You know, I mean, came in, got himself in great shape, and I keep saying to people that if you're on this stage and you give it your all and you put in great performances, you'll be back. Nathan Bennett, you will be back on our shows, mate. I would love to have you back. Go and get yourself a win. Come back in a big fight on our show. And Dalton Smith arrived tonight as a major prospect in world boxing. You know, we've got so many great fighters around the world, and every now and again you see a special performance from a fighter that looks balanced, with great hands, great power, and just, you know, dangerous fighter, and that's Dalton Smith. And we need to get behind this kid because he could be a big thing coming out of Sheffield. I believe he can go on and do a lot of damage at 140 pounds. And I'm very excited by the young man, by his temperament, by his work ethic, and the fact that he can really fight.
New English heavyweight champion in Fabio Wardley, speaking to me after his win over Simon Vallily tonight. He says he wants you to stick him on Dillian White's undercard.
Well, that's up to Dillian White. He's the boss, but love to. You know, I think I've really got a lot of time for Fabio because, you know, I'm talking from a promoter's point of view. Looks great, talks well, you know, carries himself well, but now we know he can really fight as well. Simon Vallily's a good fighter, and he dismantled him. You know, Vallily looked good, plodding on in a couple of rounds. Then as soon as he put his foot down on the gas, Wardley was there. Beautiful left hook, set it up, and then steamrolled him against the rope. Great finish, and you know he's growing as a heavyweight, young, inexperienced. Give him a couple of fights, he'll be up there, I believe, with Joyce and Dubois and those other young heavyweights in Britain. So, August 22nd, maybe, Fabio Wardley returns, but a big statement from him tonight.
Have you got a space on that card then for Wardley?
We can always make a space, mate. Listen, we're trying to push with the board to get more than 5 fights a night, so we'll see how we get on.
That's quite interesting. James Tennyson, who you labelled the Irish Golovkin the other day, against a tough Gavin Gwynn.
Do you know what? You know, when you're in the bubble and you're around these great people, fighters, are just such great individuals. I spent some time with Gavin Gwynn. He's such a great young man. You know, he gave it absolutely everything. He's devastated. But again, him, you know, he's been on 2 of our shows now. He's come out the other end, but he's been in great fights. And there was times when I was starting to think, you know, maybe he's just starting to get to Tennyson here. But James Tennyson's power, you know, as good as Gavin Gwynn's chin is, I don't know who's going to stand up to it. And, you know, there's some big fights out there for James Tennyson at lightweight. I love the Patera fight, you know, for the European title, maybe the interim world title as well, or a world title eliminator. I love the Jorge Linares fight. I mean, I just think Tennyson in with anyone. Have you ever seen him in a bad fight? It don't exist. So, good man, good team. Shout out to Mark Dunlop. Big future for James Tennyson. I hope Ireland gets behind him. I really do, because, you know, Belfast really support their own. And he is an example of a fighter that those great fans over there should really be getting behind.
Right, Egg and the Cheese didn't fail to disappoint today. It was unbelievable. And the opening and the ending were exceptional.
It's one of the best fights I've ever seen live. You know, I mean, imagine that fight with 10, 15,000 at the O2 or in Birmingham. Would have been incredible. So you've got to remember that, you know, even with no crowd, how great that fight was. And we got to give a lot of respect to those guys. I'd love to see it again. You know, I know Ted will want to move on now, probably be ranked in the top 10 with the IBF, but I would love to see that fight again. And for Sam Eggington, for me, that was one of the best performances of his career. I thought he boxed really well. Made a couple of mistakes and got hurt, but come back. He had Ted rattled in the 12th round. I'm pleased for Ted, you know. He's coming off a couple of decisions that could have gone the other way and he could have won. I did feel like he deserved to nick that fight tonight. It was a close fight, but you know, I thought it was a great performance from him, and a massive respect to Sam and Peggy. And Sam's 26. You know, he go away now, maybe come back with a little fight at the end of the year. And I think he's still got a big future in the sport. So, massive respect to those guys. You know, without those guys putting it on the line like that, we can't deliver the product that we want to. So, fight camps, all great, fireworks and ring walks and all this sort of stuff. But without those guys in the ring putting shifts in like that, we're nothing. So they deserve a lot of respect, and listen, tonight couldn't have gone better.
A few tweets tonight about the crowd noise on Sky. Can you make any comment on that? It was quite a lot, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's crowd noise and there's crowd noise. I mean, what we had tonight was mumbling in the background. I don't mind. You know, we saw tonight without crowd noise, right? And it was a bit eerie and strange. I liked it at times, don't get me wrong, because it was quite raw, wasn't it? But I do think, you know, I can see their point. I've got to go back and look at it again. I believe on main event there wasn't crowd noise. There was none. And on action there was. I'd like to give fans the option, because I believe the hardcore fans want no crowd noise. And I want to make sure that we've got to go away and look at this show and see where we can improve. Not just Matchroom, but Sky as well. I believe we need to turn those corner mics up. We also found it difficult because the corner has to have a muzzle and PPE, which quite frankly is ridiculous when we're testing everybody and quarantining them, you know, as we do. So I think we need to strengthen the mics in the corners. I think we need to probably actually mic the corner team, and I think we also need more microphones round the ring to make sure that noise can go round. I'm not against the muffling, to be honest with you, because it gives it some kind of vibe, but I'd like the option for the viewer. So these are things we're going to talk about with Sky.
Yeah, I mean, Tony Bellew addressed this on social media tonight about we've all been tested, or everyone's been tested, surely it puts you amongst the safest people in the country. So why has everyone got to wear visors and masks, etc.?
I think so, but better to be safe than sorry, isn't it? I mean, you know, just because you're in a bubble doesn't mean that your room doesn't get cleaned, or I don't know, you know, you get use a towel. I don't know how this virus can spread in different ways. So I guess at the end of the day, it's better to be safe than sorry. But I do feel like there is an element of the precautions that we've taken are so stringent that at times some of the rules don't quite make sense. But no one really knows enough about this thing for it to make sense anyway, if that makes sense. So you've always got to go with the board for being over precautious. But one of the problems is with a muzzle and with PPE, we can't get any sound out the corner. So we've either got a mic. I don't know how we're going to do it, but you know, I think it's one or the other for me. But you know, listen, it's work in progress, and we want your feedback. So tonight was a way to say that's our effort tonight. That was our return to boxing. Hope you liked it, and we're going to work all week to try and improve it ahead of week 2 next Friday.
Do you expect by, say, the pay-per-view show on the 22nd, the protocol that you followed this week to slightly change, maybe?
Maybe. I think the board have made it clear that they won't change anything for now. You know, this is the 4-week rule. But maybe we can talk to the board, and, you know, at the end of the day, they're under pressure. You know, it's not easy for governing bodies to deal with promoters that are trying to push the boundaries and, you know, get things up and running. But I'm really pleased with the precautions we took and how we followed the rules. And again, everyone will go back into quarantine on Monday. Hopefully you might even join us next week for another day or two. And we hope we can bring you another stunning night next Friday.
Edward, thank you very much. Wonderful night. Fireworks were bang on as well. Very shall we say. So
get in there. Shimon, motherfucker. Thank you.